Montserrat's premier to contest next month's elections as an independent candidate. And in sports, Reggae Boys back in the top three in the CONCACAF region. I'm Dawn Paris and this is Caribbean in 10 for Friday, October 25th, 2019. I'll be back with the details after the break.
Well, TV talk show host Ellen DeGeneres was seen sitting in an NFL game next to former President George Bush. And it wasn't but a few moments later that the Twitter bombs flew, spewing non-ending hatred. People were angry that Ellen would permit herself to be in the same vicinity as Bush, but there was nary a blip on the Twitter radar about Bush being next to Ellen. To me, it was just another example of the antisocial aspect of social media. Every famous person's moves, locations, quotes.
Gun violence, especially mass shootings, are an ongoing threat in our society. What have we learned from these events which can help us prevent further crises of this nature?
Well, sadly, each one of these events is a major learning opportunity. And what we've learned is we need to look way beyond the traditional warning signs. We've actually begun to identify warning behaviors that tell us when someone's on the pathway to a mass shooting event.
Montserrat's Premier Donaldson Romeo will be contesting next month's general elections as an independent candidate. He was earlier this month ousted as leader of the ruling People's Democratic Movement, PDM, less than 24 hours after he announced that voters in the British Overseas Territory would be going to the polls on November 18th. Romeo was replaced as PDM leader by Communications, Works, Energy and Labour Minister Paul Lewis during an internal election. The Premier says that whatever the outcome of the polls next month or wherever he is placed, he will continue to serve the people of Montserrat with passion and confidence.
It may come as a surprise to many, but it has been taken after much reflection, prayer and analysis in light of several developments over the last week. At the same time, I'm convinced that my mission is not over. Accordingly, I must share with you, my gracious supporters and well-wishers, my intention to proceed as a candidate in the upcoming elections. I'm therefore compelled to issue this public statement, one that will be shared with the various media houses so as to reduce misconceptions that may circulate. My mission is not finished, and I am determined to act, as always, in the continued best interest of the people of Montserrat.
The Antigua and Barbuda government says it will sell 10% of its shares in the state-owned West Indies Oil Company to the public. The government recently acquired 51% of the company, and the Gaston Brown administration has decided to lower its shareholding to 41%. We get more in this ABS News report.
Gaston Brown-led administration became majority shareholder in West Indies Oil Company through a landmark acquisition deal in 2015. Since then, the government has collected millions of dollars in dividend payments. Chief of Staff in the Prime Minister's office, Ambassador Lionel Hurst, says the administration will now fulfill a promise to share the company's profits with Antiguans and Barbudans.
The way to do it is to sell some of the shares. So we want to lower our holdings in it by selling off around 10% of the total shares of the firm.
Ambassador Hurst says the shares will not be offered for sale on the regional government securities market, since the government wants to limit the number of shares any one investor can buy.
The system we are going to use will allow for you to go into, say, a bank and say, I want to purchase $100,000 worth of WEOC shares, or $10,000 worth of WEOC shares. And there very likely will be some ceiling. But
Ambassador Hurst could not immediately quote the company's total number of shares. He says a valuation will be done to determine their cost.
Health authorities in Belize are reporting a decline in cases of dengue fever. Director of Health Services Dr. Marvin Manzanero did not disclose the current number, but said last week's figure is the lowest in the last 8 weeks. The number rose to more than 2,700 last month. Health authorities reported an outbreak of the mosquito-borne disease in July. They said at the time that the number of cases for the first 7 months of the year was more than twice that for all of 2018. In September, the Office of the Director of Health Services reported that up until week 34, there were 272 cases. Stay with us, your Midday Sport is next. It's time for sports now. Jamaica has moved up 2 places on the latest FIFA World Rankings to 45, its highest position in 8 years. They're now 3rd in the CONCACAF region after overtaking Costa Rica. Jamaica trail behind United States, which are 2nd in the CONCACAF region and 23rd overall, and Mexico, which leads the region and is 11th overall. TVJ's Karen Madden reports.
The jump comes after consecutive victories over Aruba in League B of the CONCACAF Nations League earlier this month. The move sees Jamaica now 3rd in CONCACAF after overtaking Costa Rica, who slipped to 47th after 2 straight draws against Haiti and Curacao in League A. It's the first time since 2011 that the nation is in the top 3 in the region. JFF President Michael Ricketts believes there's more to come from the boys.
And this goes to show that the football is in very competent and capable hands, and the sky is the limit. I want to congratulate Coach Whitmore and the technical staff. We are heading to our final 2 Nations League games. Those games will hopefully continue to propel us up the ladder. We want to win these and win them convincingly, as we aim to stay in the top 6, leading to the hexagonal stage of the World Cup qualifiers.
And Cricket West Indies CWI today announced a brand new 3-year home fixture cycle featuring the West Indies teams in all formats with matches in all the main venues across the Caribbean. This will see visits by all the major international teams to the Caribbean between January 2020 and August 2022. Next year, Ireland, New Zealand and South Africa will visit the West Indies, followed by Sri Lanka, Australia and Pakistan in 2021. The following year, Ireland will make a return and the regional side will also face England, Bangladesh and India on the home turf. The new fixture cycle will see the West Indies men play 11 test matches in the ICC World Test Championship games, 20 ODIs and 36 T20Is at home. The West Indies women's team will also have an intense calendar of matches and camps as they prepare for the ICC Women's World Cup, which will be played in New Zealand in 2021. In the biggest build-up to the biggest event in women's cricket, the West Indies women will focus their energies on the 50-over format. Later this month, they will host India and they will also host South Africa at home in May 2020. Overall, they're expected to play a minimum of 15 ODIs, home and away, in the lead-up to the marquee event. And that's Caribbean in 10. Join us at 6:30 this evening for Caribbean Newsline. Good afternoon.